The Department of World Languages and Cultures at Georgia State University presents Arabic 1001 Grammar. In this first part of the course, we address singular nouns and adjectives. In this third lesson, we are talking about singular adjectives, and in this second of three parts of this lesson, we will discuss what is called the marfu' or nominative case. It is easy to use, but mostly quite unfamiliar to native speakers of English. In the last video, we learned to say هذا كتاب كبير. This is a big book. We are saying this book, inferring the is a, and then adding the adjective kabir on the end. And as we learned, the adjective must agree with its noun in gender and definiteness. So this sentence means this is a big book. But now I'm going to add something to this sentence, and the something I'm adding is this little mark. His name is Tanween Adam, and he is pronounced un. So I am going to change this sentence from هذا كتاب كبير to هذا كتاب كبير. It means exactly the same thing, but now we're going to speak fancy Arabic. If we speak normal Arabic, everyday conversation, we simply say هذا كتاب كبير. But if we're speaking in a very formal way, we're going to add these little markings, and we're going to say هذا كتاب كبير. If you're only interested in learning Arabic to have conversations with people on the street, these markings are almost totally irrelevant. But if you're interested in any kind of formal discourse, such as journalism or literature or politics or religion, these markings will come in handy as they will enable you to speak Arabic at a higher level. The point of Tanween Adam is that it indicates that the word kitab is both indefinite, which we already know because of its lack of alif lam, but also that it's in the marfu' or nominative case, which is the subject of this section. If we look at our small book, this will appear exactly the same. Instead of saying هذا كتاب صغير, we're going to say هذا كتاب صغير, and that means this is a small book. But it means this is a small book in fancy Arabic. We've seen this before. The question ma hunaka means what's there, and our answer is ذلك باب كبير. Notice that instead of saying simply ذلك باب كبير, I'm now saying ذلك باب كبير. This is our Tanween Adam is the name for this character, and when we say ذلك باب كبير, this is fancier Arabic for that is a big door. Let's ask the question ما هنا, what's here? And our answer is going to be هذه نافذة صغيرة. We have placed the Tanween Adam character over the ta marbuta in nafida, and what this does is force us to hear the ta in ta marbuta. Remember that ta marbuta really means tied up ta, and when we put a vowel sound after it, we have to hear the ta. So instead of saying nafida saghira, I'm going to say nafidatun saghira. This doesn't change the meaning, it just makes it sound fancier or more formal. So this means this is a small window. So let's introduce the problematic concept of case. Case is one of the more challenging bits of first-year Arabic. Case means what a word is doing grammatically in a sentence or phrase. Is it the subject? Is it the object? Does it belong to another noun? That sort of thing. We don't really have it in English, except in pronouns. Notice that I can say, he told her, but she told him. He and she, when they're subjects, stay he and she, but he and she, when they're objects, change to her and him. In English, we only do this in pronouns. In Arabic, at least formal Arabic, we do it with all nouns and adjectives. In formal Arabic, all nouns and adjectives have what is called case. There are three cases. We will only discuss one of them in this lesson. So if we're going to spell things out in full fancy Arabic, adjectives must agree with nouns in every respect. So rajul tawil, a tall man, becomes rajulun tawilun. Ar-rajul at-tawil, the tall man, becomes ar-rajulu tawil. When the noun is definite, it takes a single dhamma instead of the Tanween Adam character. So al-bintul qasira. Notice I don't separate the words. I don't say al-bintu al-qasira. I run them together. Al-bintul qasira. You will get used to this as time goes on. It isn't really that much of a problem. If the girl is indefinite, we hear bintun qasiratun. Now, most of the time, the final word in a sentence or phrase doesn't get a case marking, but I've put them here to make it clear. Ma hadha, what's this? We already know our answer is hadha bab qadim. This is an old door. But I'm going to add the tanween dam character because bab is indefinite, and I'm going to say hadha babun qadim. This doesn't add meaning to the sentence, it adds formality to the sentence. If I say ma hadha, here's our new door, I'm going to say hadha huwa al-babul jadid. Notice that I don't say al-babu al-jadid, I say al-babul jadid. Because bab is definite and not indefinite, we add a single dhamma instead of the tanween dam character. So this is fancy Arabic for this is the new door. Instead of al-babu al-jadid, I say al-babul jadid. I run words together in Arabic just like we do in English. Again, case is a matter of formal Arabic. Colloquial Arabic only uses case in certain words and phrases, and you can mostly memorize them. Even when speaking formally, people often leave it out. So why learn it now? Because it will become very useful later when you're learning all the nuances of advanced Arabic. It's a little strange, but it's not difficult, and it's much easier to learn now than it is to go back and learn it later. It isn't difficult, but it's quite foreign, so just get used to it quickly, and then you won't have to worry about it. So, man hadha, we're going to say, who's this? Hadha huwa at-talibul jamil. Again, we're going to take the single dhamma because at-talib is definite, and we're going to run it together with the next word. So rather than saying at-talibu al-jamil, we're going to say at-talibul jamil, and it means the same thing. This is the beautiful student. It just sounds much more formal. Man hadhihi talibatun dhakiya. She is indefinite, so we add the tanween ad-dam character, which, when it follows ta marbuta, is pronounced tun. We hear the ta in ta marbuta. And that means this is a smart student, but it means it in a much more formal context. In this lesson, we'll only talk about one of the three cases, what we call the marfu' case. In English, it is often called the nominative case. This is borrowed from Latin, and it's the default case in Arabic. If a word doesn't have a reason to be one of the other two cases, it's in the marfu' case. Definite nouns and adjectives take a single dhamma as their marking, and indefinite nouns and adjectives usually take the tanween dam character, which is pronounced un. As we will discover, there are certain patterns of words that cannot take the tanween dam character, because the consistent thing about Arabic is that it is overcomplicated. Now let's add more adjectives, because an adjective must agree with its noun in case, as well as in gender and definiteness. So, man hadha, 5 words, hadha huwa at-talibul jamilu dhaki. That will definitely take you some time to get used to saying. But it's the same thing. Hadha huwa at-talib, this is the student. We're going to use 2 adjectives to describe him. The adjective jamil, because it, like its noun, is masculine, definite, singular, and now marfu' or nominative case, takes a single dhamma just like its noun does. Adheki is the last word in the sentence, so it typically does not receive a case marking. So, if you want to just make your opinion known, hadha huwa at-talib al-jamil adheki, everyone will understand you. If you want to make your opinion known in a very formal way and impress the people you're speaking with, we say, hadha huwa at-talibul jamilu dhaki. This is the beautiful, smart student, just more formal. Same thing here. Hadihi talibatun dhakiyatun jamila. Both taliba and dhakiya have the tanween dam character. Taliba has it because it's indefinite, feminine, singular, and marfu' or nominative case. Dhakiya takes the same marking because it must agree with its noun in every way. Jamila doesn't because it's the last word in the sentence. So, هذه طالبة ذكية jamila is a very fancy, formal way of saying this is a smart, beautiful student. Just to get the formal grammatical terms out of the way here, sometimes we use the phrase hal ar-raf' to indicate the marfu' case. So a word that is in the nominative case is in the state of liftedness. It's lifted up because it's the default case is the reason for it. And marfu is an adjective, lifted up, and that's usually what we'll use to describe the case. And then again, just because Arabic is often needlessly complicated, certain awzan or patterns for words take a single dhamma instead of the tanween dam character when they're indefinite. I would advise you to just roll with this for now and pick it up via osmosis. We can ask, ma hadha, what's this? And our answer is, hadha babun kabirun jiddan. This is a very big door, said in fancy Arabic. The adjective kabir needs to agree with bab in every way. Since bab is masculine, singular, indefinite, and in the marfu case, kabir must be exactly those same things, masculine, singular, indefinite, and in the marfu case. And since it is indefinite and in the marfu case, it takes the tanween dam character. Jiddan just stays jiddan because adverbs typically don't change at all. If we say ma hadha, what's this? We can say hadhihi nafidhatun saghiratun jiddan for exactly the same reason. Nafidha is indefinite, feminine, singular, and in the marfu case, so saghira needs to be all of those as well, and jiddan doesn't change. Again, Arabic is very complicated, but not all that difficult. You simply have to remember a bunch of rules. This means this is a very small window in fancy Arabic. Again, I would advise you to get used to case very slowly. It can be pretty cryptic for new students of Arabic. You can communicate clearly without using it, and it's much easier to learn it now instead of later, even though it's a bit confusing now. So, ma huna, what's here? And our answer is hadha kitabun jayyidun jiddan. So we're going to introduce a new adjective here, jayyid. Jayyid means good. Since kitab is indefinite, masculine, singular, and in the marfu case, jayyid needs to be as well. Notice that jayyid doesn't share the fa'il pattern that kabir and saghir and tawil and qasir all do. It's a different pattern, but it's still an adjective. If we just say, hadha kitab jayyid jiddan, that's normal Arabic, for this is a very good book. If we say, hadha kitabun jayyidun jiddan, this is fancy Arabic, for this is a very good book. Since we've learned good, let's go ahead and learn bad. Ma hunaka, what's there? Let's say it's Ayn Rand's Atlas Shrugged, a dreadful book, and we'll call it Dhalik huwa al-kitabu sayyi'u jiddan. So again, dhalika huwa al-kitab means that is the book. We're going to take the adjective sayyi', which ends with the hamza, the uh-oh sound, and because kitab is masculine, singular, and definite, we're going to add alif lam to sayyi' to make it definite, and we're going to add the single dhamma to match the single dhamma of kitab. Dhalika huwa al-kitabu sayyi'u jiddan, which is fancy Arabic for that is the very bad book. If we were speaking colloquially, we'd say dhalik huwa al-kitab sayyi' jiddan. If we're speaking formally, we add the dhammas. Dhalika huwa al-kitabu sayyi'u jiddan. It takes some practice, but it's really not that difficult. Like a lot of things about Arabic, it's just complicated rather than being difficult. So here are some new words for us. Jayyid is good. Hal arraf, here for completeness, is the formal name for the nominative case, the state of being lifted. Marfu, lifted, is the adjective name for the nominative case. Sayyi', which we spell a little bit differently when it's got ta marbuta on the end. So both forms are here, means bad, and again for the purposes of completeness, the word al-i'rab is the name for the case system in general. This is not difficult, it's complicated, it's not always necessary, and it's here for the purpose of completeness. If you can learn to make adjectives agree with nouns in gender and definiteness, you've got 99% of the way there. Finally, these three words are often confusing to new students of Arabic. They're near homophones. They sound very similar, and they look pretty similar as well. So let's make sure to clearly differentiate among them. Jadid is our word for new. It has 2-letter dals. Jayyid is our word for good. It has 1-letter dal. And jiddan is our word for very, and it has the alif on the end. So be careful about these three because they're easy to mix up. Now go out and impress your professor with how formally you can speak.